Honesty in the blockchain industry may be evident in the tech, but is a characteristic lost on many of the actors in this space. Often on this channel we've spoken about the idea of the first mover advantage, and how in many respects, being a second or third mover, depending on which way you want to look at it, holds many key advantages, which in time will become ever more apparent as the wider adoption strategy of Cardano takes shape. But the first movers do have one clear advantage. It's going to take a lot more time and effort to overcome, and that being the size of reach of some of the most popular crypto YouTube podcasts, Twitter accounts, and crypto media publications, whose biased narrative has clearly been formed to protect their own investments, and in many respects, those of their VC backers, to in turn influence mass retail. For the mainstream narrative to change, it's going to take a lot of intellectual honesty and objective critique, solely based on the technology we see in front of us. The good thing is, we're starting to see signs of this taking place more frequently, and as you're about to see in this video, the truth can act as a great equalizer in this respect. Even Bankless, possibly the most unfriendly Cardano podcast, may have just experienced for the first time a lesson in Cardano and honesty from an individual they highly admire, which may well have delivered the first blow of many as the effects of Vasil and the ETH merge unfolds on the blockchain industry. Welcome back for today's installment of Cardano Insights, where we track the all-important developments at the very pulse of Cardano and its ecosystem each weekday. So let's get straight into it. First up today, and we take a trip to the Bankless podcast. Now, you may well already be aware, but for some context, before we get into this topic, this is Polynya, an anonymous writer, investor, and crypto researcher with a fairly sizable following who publishes technical and informative literature through a blog and Twitter post broadly on crypto and blockchain technology. Now, I'm sure you're well aware of Bankless. Their narrative towards Cardano has never been fair or accurate, to say the least, on several occasions claiming Cardano to be a scam, and let's just say have an extremely biased, dishonest and uninformed opinion generally surrounding the technological advancements of the Cardano blockchain. But putting that to one side, in this recent episode they featured Polynya on their podcast called Polynya's Thesis, and what was unique about this episode, due to Polynya's requirement for a complete anonymity, the voice has been acted out based on a 5-hour text-based Discord interview. It's also important to note, as explained at the start of the podcast, Polynya is someone the Bankless team greatly admire, and they were generally real buzzed to have secured such an interview with a prominent and elusive crypto researcher. When it came to my attention Cardano was discussed during the podcast, I was certainly interested to hear Polynya's opinion, and it made for some pretty insightful viewing. I just want to say, however, I'm rather skeptical about the editing of this Discord conversation. As you're about to see, the way this part specifically has been put together delivers some obvious contradictions. I'm interested to see what you guys think in the comments. So here you have David and Ryan of Bankless, and top left, represented by the speech icon, Anon Polynya. When asked to, and I quote, stillman the Cardano ecosystem and explain the best properties of Cardano, this is what Polynya had to say. This is easier than you may think. It's by far the largest layer 1 outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, with a strong philosophy of inclusive accountability. I'd even argue they skew closer to Bitcoin than Ethereum does as to how cheap and easy running their node should be. They have a very engaged, enthusiastic, and probably third best social layer generally. Their validated distribution is the best in the industry, better than Bitcoin and Ethereum in its current state. They also have a very strong teams working on rollups like Orbis and Milkamida, and probably the best activity around next-gen scaling solutions outside of Ethereum and Tezos. I'd say Cardano is in the best position to be the number 2 settlement layer after Ethereum, but no idea if they can pull it off. So this was pretty intriguing, very positive, and definitely made the host, at least David, squirm a little. Hearing such positive information about Cardano seemingly doesn't sit well with him. And what was really strange, and something you have to remember, this was basically a reenactment of the Discord conversation. So David was already well aware of Polynya's answer, yet still the camera doesn't lie. His body language and facial expressions when hearing Polynya's response, who he clearly admires, deliver some real positive facts about Cardano was telling, to say the least. Even though it was being narrated by a stand-in actor, he still couldn't help showing disgust towards Cardano positivity. Seriously, for this alone, you have to go and check out this podcast. So this is where it gets a little strange, and is the part that makes me skeptical of the editing and context or phrasing of the questions, and would love to have been privy to the actual full Discord dialogue. At this stage, David from Bankless questioned, "Have we at Bankless been unnecessarily mean to Cardano?" Now see if you can spot the contradictions. Polynya then responded, "Nah, a lot of it is well deserved. Hoskinson is a bit of a profanity, and their shills are obnoxiously loud, well, at least during a bull market. But then goes on to state, I'd have to say, as obnoxious as crypto Twitter generally is, some of the most polite discussions I've had have been with Cardano people. They sincerely believe in maximizing decentralization, keeping nodes easy to run, and following on from Bitcoin whilst avoiding Ethereum's mistakes. At the same time, making Cardano a laughingstock is undeserved. They're a real project with real research and development, and they have a strong community. Personally, I'm very skeptical it will ever amount to anything, so anytime an ADA shill makes a bombastic statement, please don't hold back. I'm not sure me narrating this back fully gets the point across, but there has definitely been parts of the Polynya and Cardano conversation cut from this discussion, as it's clear something isn't right with the structure of this response. I think there must be several Bankless questions missing from the podcast that prompted this strange and inconsistent response. Polynya has gone from highlighting the key strengths and technical advantages of Cardano to almost justifying the Bankless bias coverage with the opinion that Hoskinson is annoying and the ADA shills are loud, to then saying it's a real project with real research and polite community members, to then closing with being skeptical it'll ever amount to anything, so don't hold back when you hear an ADA shill make a bombastic statement. This makes for a pretty confusing summary. I think lots of what was said on the Discord conversation has been taken out of context. From Bankless, this was a real poor attempt to take the shine off what was by all accounts a very positive analysis of the Cardano blockchain. I think the significance of this was that a prominent crypto writer at least didn't display the intellectual dishonesty we are so used to seeing, especially when it comes to Bankless and many of their guest speakers. I've linked it in the description, so definitely go check it out. This segment is only a few minutes. Locate the Cardano timestamps for this part of the podcast and watch the body language of the host when Polynya delivers some truths that definitely cut a little deeper than Bankless would have liked. See, there's a difference in having opinions on individuals like Charles and ADA shills to understanding the quality of the tech and strengths Cardano possesses. It's this kind of honesty that we could do with a lot more of in this space. Separating our views on people to facts about the technological advancements is vital if we're going to take the space as a whole forwards. Also, before we move on, if you want to see an example of a long-term Cardano critic objectively reviewing Cardano, its tech and strengths, check out this video from Coinsider, who claims to have done a complete U-turn on Cardano after building a stillman argument to challenge his previous biases, also linked in the description. Now, I'm pretty sure that Polynya's Cardano critique definitely rattled Bankless. After this podcast was aired, the Bankless team were on the hunt for some real engagement farming. Check out this poll they released on the day of the Polynya podcast. Quick polls check Bankless Nation, providing two options: Cardano is valid or Cardano is not valid. A very strange way to frame a poll. I mean, is this even a real question? With polls like this, it's no wonder why, so far, the invites for Charles to come on their podcast have never materialised into anything. Meanwhile, and speaking of the validity of Cardano, here's IOG presenting Ofelimos at Crypto, the most prestigious cryptography conference in this space. As we covered several times on this channel, Ofelimos is IOG's research paper on proof of useful work. If you're interested, IOG also recently published this blog post providing an overview of Ofelimos, which I've linked in the description below. So if Bankless really needed to question the validity of Cardano, maybe they should have just checked in with crypto first to understand what it means to get a peer-reviewed paper accepted at such a conference. Since Monday's development update, I thought it'd be a good idea to check in on any news surrounding the three major communities currently going through the process of upgrading to node version 1.35.3. Check this out. It's clear the excitement and anticipation for Vasil can even get the better of a man like Charles, who first called upon all SPOs to upgrade to mainnet, which I think the tweet was subsequently deleted. Here in this tweet, Charles writes, "Let's try this again. If you're an SPO, then please start the upgrade path. 1.35.3 is heavily tested, and it's more likely than not going to be the version for the Heartful Combinator event. Run through, preview, devnet, pre-production, then mainnet." As you can see here, the advice for SPOs is to first upgrade and test the latest functionality in the preview environment. From here they can then move to the pre-production environment, which is the final stage testing grounds as it matches configurations of mainnet. Many SPOs, however, have already completed extensive testing and fully upgraded. Here we have Giovanni from Easy One State Pool. He writes, "Can feel the excitement in Charles' words as a ton of work and testing went into it. Hats off to Input Output. After a good bit of testing, I felt comfortable updating." So it's great to see the process finally underway, and from what we can see, we're in a mixed node environment. As more testing is complete, more are being updated. Over here on Sea Explorer, you can see 8% of block production and 3.52 billion ADA staked, that's 14%, are now ready for Vasil. Extremely exciting times, it's all getting pretty real now. Vasil is coming, it's going to creep up on us very soon, and I'll be tracking the progress with more info as the three major communities continue to upgrade. Now check out this project that's recently hit my radar called Atrium. Just over 1,700 followers on Twitter, no website, and in the bio reads only "Center of Everything." So why am I covering this? Well, looking over their Twitter timeline, I came across some real interesting insights I'm going to share with you, and for reasons that will soon become apparent, we'll definitely be tracking the progress and developments here very closely. So their first tweet was on the 5th of August. They write, "We are building the center of everything on Cardano." Followed by, "Atrium will be a decentralizing force for Cardano." Then, "Atrium will increase the accessibility for new users joining the Cardano blockchain." And this is the one that really sparked my interest. Atrium will be the first application you check every morning. But you might be thinking, anyone can put together a whole bunch of cryptic tweets, but where's the substance? So check this, on the 10th of August, they announced Pi from SundaySwap is now an advisor at Atrium Lab. So definitely getting more promising when a highly respected developer in the Cardano ecosystem collaborates with the project. But it didn't stop there, then we got this. Today we're excited to announce Dwayne Cameron as an advisor for Atrium Lab. Dwayne Cameron is the founder of Liquid Labs, Liquid Finance, and has extensive knowledge of Cardano and DeFi strategy. More announcements coming in the next couple of weeks. So definitely an interesting project forming here. Two great acquisitions in terms of experienced advisors already responsible for big projects in the Cardano ecosystem. This coupled with some very intriguing messages surrounding the potential impact and use case Atrium will be bringing to the ecosystem. So let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think Atrium is going to be building? And what are they bringing to the Cardano ecosystem? Finally today, and something many have been questioning, as I think this time last year we were already well aware of the details, but here you can see the first teaser for the Cardano Summit 2022. Here the Cardano Foundation write, "Get ready, details coming soon, Cardano Summit 2022. The Cardano Summit 2021 was a major event, and with the developments seen in our ecosystem over the past 12 months, this year's summit promises to be a blockbuster event. As always, I'll keep you in the loop as more details are released." So that's it for today's installment of Cardano Insights, as we keep track of all the developments and continue to spread those positive Cardano vibes. If you found value in the content, then please do be sure to comment, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow with your daily roundup, and until then, thanks for watching, have a great day, and as always, keep it Cardano.